This is the official podcast of Swedish Experts, an auto service company that combines an engineering-driven approach, deep diagnostics, and a modern perspective on vehicle technology. Here, we break down the key transport news from Dubai and the UAE, analyze infrastructure developments, and discuss how they impact drivers, service providers, and the future of urban mobility. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we are diving into some very fresh and, frankly, pretty staggering enforcement data coming out of Sharjah. We're talking about traffic lane violations.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is just the sheer velocity of it. The number of violations right out of the gate, it suggests a huge disconnect, a disconnect between the new rules and, driver awareness.
Absolutely. So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out why that violation count is so high. We need to understand the new rules, why they were introduced. It's all about safety, and what the consequences are for drivers. So let's start with the scale, because it's massive. This law went into effect on November 1st. Since then, authorities have recorded over 30,000 violations.
30,000.
In just a few weeks. That's not a learning curve. That's a cliff.
It is. And that number, it tells you two things. One, the enforcement is incredibly effective. But two, maybe the communication or the clarity of the rules is lagging behind.
Right.
The whole idea was to enhance safety by separating vehicle classes, heavy vehicles, buses, motorcycles, from the regular flow of traffic.
So what are the absolute must-know rules here, especially for, say, heavy transport operators?
Okay, the biggest one is simple. The far right lane is now strictly for heavy vehicles and buses, period.
So if you're a truck, you stay right.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's about keeping the speed differentials in check and the faster lanes clear. But, and this is where it gets more complicated, there are very specific rules for motorcycles and delivery riders.
A huge part of the traffic now.
Exactly. Motorbike riders are explicitly banned from the far left fast lanes. And where they can ride depends on how many lanes the road has.
Okay, that sounds like a lot to process while you're actually driving.
It is. So on a 4-lane road, they can use the 2 rightmost lanes.
2 right lanes. Got it.
On a 3-lane road, it's the middle or the right. And on a 2-lane road, only the right lane.
Wow. I mean, is the signage clear enough for a rider to make that split-second decision? It almost seems like it's setting them up to fail.
I suspect that complexity is a big reason we're seeing that 30,000 temper. It requires a high cognitive load, constantly.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting and, frankly, risky for businesses. The penalties. For a heavy vehicle caught in the wrong lane, what are we looking at?
It's a DH 1,400 fine.
1,500. That's substantial.
It is, but that's not the real headline. It's the 12 black points that come with it.
12.
Yes, and we need to focus on that. For a professional driver, that is a career-threatening penalty.
Right, because 24 points in a year and your license is suspended.
Exactly. One violation puts a driver halfway there.
Yeah.
For a fleet manager, that's not just a cost. It's a direct threat to your operations, to your driver retention, insurance, everything.
So given our focus here at Swedish Experts on Tech, how are they even catching 30,000 of these violations so quickly?
This is where law enforcement and modern vehicle tech really intersect. They're using smart radars and modern high-definition cameras.
So these aren't just your standard speed cameras.
Not at all. These systems use image processing, probably some AI, to classify the vehicle type. It knows a bus from an SUV, a truck from a van.
And it checks its position against the lane markings.
Precisely. That's the only way you could enforce rules this specific on such a massive scale. The tech is what makes it possible.
So what does this all mean when you put it together?
Well, the high violation count shows there's a steep and very costly learning curve happening right now.
And it really reinforces how much the UAE is leaning on advanced surveillance to manage traffic flow. It's an investment in safety, for sure.
But one that puts enormous pressure on drivers and fleet managers to adapt and adapt fast. And, it leaves me with a final, more provocative question for you to think about. Does the threat of a DH 1,500 fine, and more importantly, those 12 black points, actually change road habits that have been built up over years? Or is this just a really effective, high-tech way to generate revenue while the core operational challenges for drivers remain? Something to mull over.
Thank you for joining us. This was the Swedish Experts Podcast. Subscribe so you don't miss upcoming deep dives covering the latest transport news from Dubai and the UAE. See you in the next episode.